Now that we have an authenticated user to work with, we can create a page to display their profile. The profile page can contain information about the user, such as his latest or most popular threads, and so on. This is how our mock profile looks. Before we copy it, let's delete the last two activities since we'll only need the markup for one, which we'll loop over in the actual app. Now, let's create a page component to display the profile. We'll save that in pages/profile.view. Here, I'll paste the markup and then clean it up a bit. Assuming we have a user property, we can display its details. We can add the avatar for the user image, and we'll give it an alt. We'll provide the user's username here, and we'll provide the user's actual name. The bio is optional, which means that the user might or might not have provided one, so we can display it if it exists, and otherwise display a message like "No bio specified." This indicator shows if the user is online or not. We don't know which users are online, but the authenticated user is always online, right? So, if you don't want to remove this message for now, we can update the online message to include the current user's username. The next element contains stats about users' posts and threads. As you might have guessed, we'll get this information using computed properties such as user post count and user threads count. We'll flesh the actual computed properties out in just a minute. We can display the user's website if they have one. The link can direct to the user's website as well. I'll skip the next profile details here and go on to the recent activity. The activity feed is not implemented yet, but for now, we can show the user's post here instead. For that, we have the post list component that we made earlier. It requires an array of posts to render. I'll pass it the variable user posts, and we'll worry about actually creating user posts in just a minute. Alright, that does it for the markup. Let's go work on the JavaScript. First, I'll import and register the post list component. Whoops, VS Code is letting me know post list is not used in the template. I must have misspelled it. Now, we'll need map getters to grab the authenticated user, so we'll import that and use it in the computed option. Here, we want to map the local user property to the auth user getter. Besides just the user, we'll also need the user threads count and the user posts count for the stats. And we'll need an array with the user post to pass to the post lists. Let's deal with the posts first. For the user post, let's filter through all the posts in the store and find the ones with the user ID that matches our authenticated user's ID. For the user posts count, we'll just return the length of the user posts. Easy enough. Now, let's do the exact same thing for threads. While we don't necessarily need to list out all the user's threads directly in our template, doing this in the same format as our posts makes our code a little more consistent and easier to reason about. Besides, it also helps us adhere to the single responsibility principle. That is, each of our computed props has a single responsibility. The user threads is responsible for getting all the user's threads, and the user threads count computed property is responsible for counting those threads. If we wanted to make these computed properties globally available, we could convert them to getters, though I don't think we will need these outside of the profile page for now, so we can stick with the computed properties. Alright, we've been in the code for a while. Let's make it where we can actually see our progress. I'm going to add a new route to the router file and import the component. The path for the authenticated user's profile can be /me. Let's check it out in the browser. Uh-oh, we have an issue with our posts count. Let's try and figure that out real quick. Ah, we used an S here. Great, it looks good. Now let's check it out for Batman. Great, we see the post, threads, and then their posts listed out. Finally, it'd be nice to navigate to this page by clicking the name in the nav bar. Since we don't show a dropdown for the user, this is just fine for now. In the navbar component, I'll replace the A tag with a router link pointing to the profile page using its name. Now we can navigate to our profile from any page.